you getting benched and ultimately not showing up for another game?
I hate this question.
Should there be a co-rookie of the year? And it feels like we are both on the same page here.
No, they're not equal. They're not.
It was supposed to be just another high-profile moment under the spotlight, but within minutes, everything spiraled. What viewers watched unfold felt raw, uncomfortable, and impossible to look away from. Angel Reese, already one of the most talked-about figures in women's basketball, suddenly found herself at the center of a live moment that fans say changed the tone completely. Analysts didn't hold back. Comparisons were drawn. Caitlin Clark's name entered the conversation, and the energy shifted fast. What made this moment hit harder wasn't just the criticism, but how public and immediate it was. On live air, experts questioned decisions, mindset, and on-court impact in a way that felt less like analysis and more like a breaking point. Social media lit up instantly. Clips spread. Reactions poured in from every direction. Some viewers felt Angel Reese was being unfairly targeted. Others argued that this is the cost of being a star in today's hyper-competitive spotlight. Either way, everyone agreed on one thing: this wasn't a normal segment. The Caitlin Clark comparison poured gasoline on the fire. For months, fans have framed the two as opposites: different styles, different narratives, different public treatment. When Clark's performances were used as the measuring stick live on air, the contrast felt sharp and intentional. To some, it sounded like tough love. To others, it sounded like humiliation disguised as critique. And right there, in real time, the pressure became visible. What followed only made things more intense. Body language, tone, silence where confidence usually lived. Viewers started debating not just basketball, but emotional strain. How much pressure is too much? When does criticism cross the line? And why does it feel like Angel Reese is always expected to carry more weight, explain more, and prove more than anyone else? This moment didn't happen in isolation. It landed on top of an already heated season filled with debates about rivalry, media narratives, and how female athletes are framed when they are bold, outspoken, and unapologetic. That's why fans are saying this felt different. Not just a bad night, but a breaking point. Now the question everyone's asking isn't about stats or scores. It's about impact. Did this moment change how Angel Reese is viewed? Did it expose a double standard? Or did it reveal just how brutal the spotlight has become when expectations collide with live television? One thing is certain: after this, the conversation won't be the same. The moment unfolded like a slow-motion disaster. What began as a normal segment on live television quickly escalated into something far bigger than anyone anticipated. Angel Reese, known for her tenacity, skill, and fearless approach to the game, suddenly found herself facing scrutiny unlike anything she had encountered before. It wasn't just the usual post-game analysis or casual critique. It was public, direct, and amplified by the intensity of live broadcast. Every gesture, every pause, every reaction was caught on camera, replayed, and dissected instantly by an audience hungry for drama. Fans immediately sensed the shift. Social media exploded with reactions, clips, and commentary. Some defended Reese, highlighting her dominance, her perseverance, and the pressure she carries as a rising star in women's basketball. Others, however, began questioning her composure, her decisions, and her ability to respond under pressure. The division wasn't merely about basketball. It was about narrative, perception, and the growing scrutiny faced by high-profile athletes. Suddenly, Reese's every move was a statement, whether she intended it to be or not. Adding fuel to the fire was the presence of Caitlin Clark's name in the discussion. Clark, who has long been positioned as a rival or benchmark, became an immediate comparison point. Analysts dissected stats, play styles, and leadership qualities, framing Clark's consistency against Reese's recent performances. To some, this was fair analysis. To others, it felt like a deliberate humiliation, a public weighing of one young woman against another in a way that seemed calculated rather than observational. The effect was immediate. Tension escalated, fans were polarized, and Reese's emotional response became the central talking point. The emotional intensity was visible in Reese's body language. Small gestures, eye movements, posture, even brief expressions of frustration, were magnified under the lens of live television. Analysts picked up on cues that might have been insignificant in another context, turning them into talking points. Every subtle reaction was interpreted as evidence of composure or lack thereof, fueling debates among fans, commentators, and casual viewers alike. The result was a perfect storm where emotion and perception collided in real time. This wasn't just about a single performance. It was about context, history, and expectations. Reese had already faced a season filled with heightened media attention, comparisons to peers, and pressure to perform at an elite level. The live critique acted as a catalyst, making existing stresses more visible. Fans didn't just see a moment of frustration. They saw the cumulative effect of months of scrutiny, the weight of expectation, and the emotional toll of being constantly evaluated in public spaces. The pressure was palpable, almost tangible, as if every viewer was collectively holding their breath. Social media amplified everything further. Clips of Reese's reactions circulated almost immediately, accompanied by commentary ranging from supportive to critical. Hashtags began trending, some defending her, others framing her response as evidence of being overwhelmed. The debate moved beyond sports and into larger conversations about how female athletes are treated in high-pressure environments, how media narratives can amplify perceived weaknesses, and how public comparisons affect mental and emotional health. Every post, comment, and share added layers to the growing storm. Behind the scenes, coaches, teammates, and insiders reportedly recognized the magnitude of the moment. Live broadcasts leave little room for correction or nuance. What happens in real time can't easily be taken back. Analysts and commentators, aware of the potential impact, had to balance professional critique with sensitivity, but the energy of the moment often overshadowed intention. Reese's reaction, human, raw, and visible, became the focus, eclipsing the technical breakdowns of plays and statistics. At the heart of it, this moment illustrates a larger truth about being in the public eye. Talent and success do not shield anyone from scrutiny. If anything, they amplify it. The more prominent an athlete becomes, the more every reaction, every word, and every gesture is examined for meaning beyond its immediate context. Angel Reese, already a standout in her field, became a symbol of how quickly pressure can compound and how public perception can shift within seconds. In a world where commentary is instant, viral, and often unforgiving, one live moment can define narratives in ways that stats and achievements cannot. Fans continue to dissect, analyze, and debate. The clip of Reese's live response has become a cultural touchpoint, a moment that sparks conversations about skill, poise, expectation, and pressure. Supporters highlight the spotlight on Reese is brighter, harsher, and more scrutinized than ever before. This is the moment that sets the stage for what comes next. The live reaction, the comparisons, the social media frenzy, it's all part of a narrative that won't dissipate quickly. For Angel Reese, this is a test of endurance as much as skill. How she navigates the aftermath, handles public scrutiny, and maintains her focus will shape both her career trajectory and her legacy. And for fans and observers, it's a reminder of how quickly moments can explode, how fragile perception can be, and how high the stakes are for those living life in the public eye. The intensity didn't fade after the broadcast, it only grew stronger. Once the clip of Angel Reese's reaction began circulating on social media, every platform became a magnifying glass. Analysts, fans, and casual viewers dissected each gesture, every word, and every moment of silence. Suddenly, what had started as live commentary evolved into a larger conversation about composure, resilience, and the unique pressures that accompany being one of the brightest stars in women's basketball. The scrutiny wasn't limited to performance, it extended into personality, temperament, and public perception. Every detail was interpreted as a sign of confidence or a warning of instability. For Reese, the aftermath presented a unique challenge. Live reactions are impossible to erase. Once they are captured, they take on a life of their own, independent of context. Fans who had supported her passionately now found themselves divided. Some argued that the criticism was fair, pointing to the raw, emotional response as evidence of being unprepared for the spotlight. Others contended that the scrutiny was disproportionate, highlighting the double standards female athletes often face in media coverage compared to their male counterparts. These discussions intensified the emotional weight of the situation, both for Reese and for those observing her journey closely. Caitlin Clark's involvement in the discussion added an additional layer of complexity. As the comparison became central in many commentaries, Reese was no longer being evaluated solely on her performance, she was being measured against someone else's narrative. The comparison, whether fair or not, amplified pressure exponentially. Fans debated whether Clark's achievements and demeanor were being used as a benchmark inappropriately, while analysts justified it as a standard practice in evaluating elite athletes. For Reese, This meant that her public perception now hinged not only on her actions but also on how they contrasted with Clark's, a burden few athletes are asked to bear so publicly. The psychological aspect of the situation became impossible to ignore. Pressure, when sustained in public, affects decision-making, focus, and confidence. Observers noted subtle changes in body language and on-court demeanor, interpreting them as signs of strain. Every mistake, hesitation, or uncharacteristic decision was scrutinized as evidence that the criticism was having an effect. Even supporters, while defending her, could not ignore the intensity of the moment. Watching someone navigate high expectations while under fire in real time is emotionally taxing, both for the athlete and the audience invested in their success. Meanwhile, social media accelerated the spread of the story. Clips of Reese's live reaction were shared, remixed, and analyzed repeatedly, creating a cycle where the moment became larger than the event itself. Hashtags, debates, and opinion threads proliferated, some defending her composure, others questioning it. The commentary moved beyond sports alone, touching on themes of gender, media treatment, and the psychological demands of being a prominent young athlete. It became clear that this was more than a single broadcast moment. It was a reflection of systemic pressures that are often invisible until amplified by live events and viral circulation. The dynamic between public expectation and personal reality created further tension. Fans and analysts alike projected narratives onto Reese's actions, sometimes assuming intentions that may not have existed. Every post-game interview, every media interaction, and even seemingly casual comments were scrutinized for hidden meanings. The pressure to perform consistently while managing perception became a central theme in discussions about her career trajectory. Supporters worried that the weight of expectation could affect not only performance but also emotional well-being, while critics insisted that public figures must learn to navigate scrutiny as part of their role. In addition, the ripple effect of comparisons to Clark raised questions about fairness and consistency in evaluations. Some argued that Reese was held to impossible standards because of the optics of competition between two rising stars. Others maintained that comparisons are inevitable in professional sports, where performance metrics are constantly analyzed. Regardless of perspective, the public framing of the narrative placed Reese in a position where her every action was a statement, and every misstep, however minor, became amplified. This period highlighted the challenges of balancing public attention, personal identity, and professional growth. The live reaction was more than an isolated incident. It served as a lens into how scrutiny can intensify in the digital age, where moments are captured, shared, and replayed endlessly. Supporters were left navigating their own emotions, balancing defense of Reese with recognition of the psychological toll the situation might be having on her. Meanwhile, critics leveraged the moment to reinforce pre-existing narratives, creating a polarized environment that made measured discussion difficult. The events following the live broadcast underscored the intersection of pressure, perception, and performance. For Reese, it wasn't just about basketball skills. It was about navigating a landscape where expectations, comparisons, and public opinion collide. Every reaction, every decision, and every appearance became part of a broader narrative she was now forced to manage. The scrutiny revealed both the intensity of modern sports culture and the fragile line between admiration and critique, highlighting the unique challenges faced by athletes in high-profile positions. By this point, it became evident that recovery would require more than technical skill. Reese's path forward depended on resilience, strategic communication, and mental fortitude. Fans continued to watch, debate, and analyze, aware that the situation was far from resolved. The live moment had created ripples extending well beyond the game itself, shaping perception, narrative, and expectation. And in the midst of it all, one truth stood out. The stakes for Angel Reese had never been higher, and how she responded in the coming days would define not just this moment, but potentially her legacy. The situation only intensified as the days went on, with the spotlight growing brighter and the pressure heavier. Every performance, every interview, and even every social media post was now examined through a lens sharpened by the viral moment. Angel Reese had become more than an athlete on a court. She had become a symbol of resilience, expectation, and the challenges of being a young star under relentless scrutiny. What had started as a critique during a live broadcast evolved into an ongoing narrative that extended far beyond the game itself. Fans and analysts alike continued to dissect every nuance. Reese's expressions, gestures, and even pauses were examined as potential indicators of mindset or readiness. Those who defended her highlighted her consistent dominance, her ability to deliver in high-pressure situations, and the resilience that had defined her career up to this point. Meanwhile, Critics focused on what they saw as cracks in her composure, framing them as signs of vulnerability that the live moment had exposed. The intensity of public attention created a feedback loop where every reaction fueled more discussion, amplifying both praise and criticism. The comparison to Caitlin Clark remained a central theme in public discourse. Analysts and commentators repeatedly referenced Clark's performances as a benchmark, creating a context in which Reese's every move was contrasted against her peer. Some argued this was a natural part of sports evaluation, measuring rising stars against each other to understand relative strengths. Others felt it was unfair, suggesting that the constant comparisons added unnecessary pressure and undermined Reese's individual achievements. For Reese, the comparison created a dual challenge, excelling in her own right while simultaneously navigating the optics of public expectation. Beyond the surface-level discussions, the psychological stakes were immense. Sustained public scrutiny can impact confidence, focus, and decision-making, particularly for young athletes whose careers are still developing. Observers noted subtle changes in Reese's demeanor, interpreting them as indicators of the emotional weight she was carrying. Even supporters acknowledged that performing under such intense pressure requires more than skill. It demands mental fortitude and strategic awareness. The live broadcast had shifted the playing field from purely physical performance to a test of composure and resilience. Social media became both a mirror and a magnifier. Clips of the live moment circulated widely, sparking commentary, debate, and speculation. Hashtags trended, memes were created, and discussions spread across platforms, turning the incident into a cultural touchpoint. Conversations moved beyond basketball, touching on issues of gender, fairness, and media treatment of female athletes. Every repost and reaction reinforced the narrative, extending the emotional and social impact of the initial live critique. The moment was no longer confined to the broadcast. It had become a persistent, evolving story in the digital space. The public attention also affected perceptions within professional circles. Coaches, teammates, and sports insiders were aware of the ripple effects. Decisions about training, interviews, and public appearances were now made with heightened sensitivity to how Reese would be perceived. The intensity of scrutiny meant that even minor missteps could be amplified, creating pressure to manage both performance and public narrative simultaneously. This dual responsibility required careful navigation, balancing personal focus with external expectations in a highly visible environment. What became clear during this period was the interplay between reality and perception. Reese's performance on the court remained strong, but the narrative around her behavior, emotion, and response had taken on a life of its own. Fans and commentators constructed interpretations that extended beyond her control, framing moments as either evidence of strength or weakness. The live broadcast had effectively shifted the conversation from objective performance to subjective perception, highlighting the challenges athletes face in environments where scrutiny is relentless and interpretations are often amplified. The experience also underscored the importance of support systems. Friends, family, teammates, and mentors all play critical roles in helping athletes navigate high-pressure moments. For Reese, maintaining composure and focus required internal stability, which in turn influenced how the public perceived her. Every interaction, message, and gesture contributed to the evolving story. Fans who followed her journey closely began to appreciate the complexity of managing not just athletic expectations but also the social and emotional pressures that accompany visibility at this level. Ultimately, the events of this phase highlighted both the intensity of modern sports culture and the resilience required to thrive within it. The scrutiny, comparisons, and public discussion were more than distractions. They were tests of character, focus, and strategy. Reese's ability to navigate this environment would not only affect immediate outcomes but also shape long-term perceptions of her leadership, professionalism, and capacity to handle adversity. Every decision, visible or behind the scenes, carried weight. As this period unfolded, one truth became increasingly clear. Angel Reese was at a pivotal point in her journey. How she handled the aftermath of the live broadcast, the comparisons to Clark, and the ongoing scrutiny would define not only her reputation but also her trajectory in professional basketball. Fans, analysts, and peers watched closely, aware that the next steps could solidify resilience or expose vulnerability. The narrative had expanded beyond a single moment, becoming a defining test of composure, focus, and mental strength, and the implications would resonate far beyond the court. The aftermath of the live critique continued to shape Angel Reese's world in ways that were subtle but powerful. Each day brought renewed attention, as fans, analysts, and casual observers rewatched the broadcast, dissected every movement, and debated every comment. The moment had grown into more than a single incident. It had become a lens through which all her actions were interpreted. What Reese did on the court, in interviews, or even in casual appearances now carried weight far beyond performance, shaping public perception and influencing narratives about her resilience, composure, and professionalism. As attention persisted, Reese's emotional and psychological endurance came into sharper focus. Being constantly evaluated, compared, and scrutinized can be exhausting, even for the most seasoned athletes. The public's expectations created a pressure cooker environment where minor missteps were amplified into significant talking points. Every brief hesitation, every understated gesture, and every word spoken in interviews became subject to interpretation. Supporters recognized that this kind of sustained scrutiny could affect confidence and focus, while critics framed it as evidence of the challenges in maintaining composure under pressure. The comparison with Caitlin Clark remained central to public conversations. Analysts continued to use Clark as a benchmark, evaluating Reese not solely on her own merits but in the context of how she measured against a peer. While some viewed this as a natural part of sports discourse, others criticized the framing as unfair and unnecessary. For Reese, this added a dual challenge: performing at her peak while managing the optics of comparison, a task that required not only skill but also strategic thinking and mental resilience. Fans watching closely understood the difficulty of maintaining both competitive focus and public composure simultaneously. They explored themes of fairness, gender bias, and media pressure. Supporters highlighted the unfairness of comparing two young athletes in such a public and high-stakes environment, while critics used the moments to analyze composure and leadership. The intensity of public dialogue reinforced the emotional stakes, as fans and commentators alike shaped the narrative through interpretation, speculation, and debate. Within professional circles, the impact of the scrutiny was equally significant. Coaches, teammates, and sports insiders observed the effects, recognizing that the external pressure could influence on-court performance and decision-making. Every interview, practice session, and public appearance became a balancing act, where demonstrating control, focus, and readiness was just as important as actual performance. The dual responsibility of maintaining athletic excellence and managing perception created a challenging environment, requiring careful planning and strategic awareness to navigate effectively. The emotional complexity of this period became increasingly visible. Supporters noted how Reese managed to maintain focus on the game despite external pressures, demonstrating resilience in the face of public evaluation. Every performance, no matter how small, was scrutinized for evidence of emotional stability, mental fortitude, and leadership. Even fans who remained loyal acknowledged the weight of expectation, understanding that repeated exposure to public critique can shape confidence, decision-making, and self-perception. The spotlight had shifted from mere observation of talent to constant assessment of character. The long-term implications of the scrutiny also began to take shape. Sustained public evaluation can impact not only immediate performance but also future opportunities, reputation, and influence. Fans debated how moments like the live broadcast might shape Reese's narrative within the sport, emphasizing the importance of mental strength, strategic decision-making, and the ability to maintain focus despite distraction. The live critique had revealed more than just technical skills. It had exposed the demands of leadership, emotional intelligence, and the capacity to navigate high-pressure environments successfully. As discussions unfolded, it became evident that resilience was the defining factor. The public's expectations, comparisons, and scrutiny were tests that extended beyond the basketball court. Each action, each statement, each performance became part of a broader evaluation of professionalism, poise, and growth. Supporters and critics alike acknowledged that navigating such an environment required a combination of skill, awareness, and strategic mental management, and that the ability to respond thoughtfully under pressure would define the next phase of Reese's career. Ultimately, the period following the live critique highlighted the intricate interplay between performance, perception, and public expectation. Reese's talent remained undeniable, but the broader conversation centered on how she managed scrutiny, comparisons, and the emotional intensity of living life in the public eye. Fans, analysts, and peers watched with a mix of anticipation and concern, aware that the decisions made during this period would influence both immediate outcomes and long-term reputation. The narrative had evolved from a single televised moment into a complex story about resilience, focus, and the demands of being a high-profile athlete. Through it all, one truth became clear: the way Reese responded in these weeks would shape not only her legacy but also her ability to thrive under ongoing public pressure. The scrutiny was relentless, but it also offered an opportunity to demonstrate poise, leadership, and growth in the face of intense evaluation. The public, whether supportive or critical, remained invested, knowing that the unfolding journey would provide insight into not just athletic skill, but character, resilience, and the ability to navigate one of the most challenging stages imaginable. As the weeks unfolded, the focus shifted from the live broadcast itself to how Angel Reese would respond in the aftermath. The initial shock and intensity of public scrutiny had settled into a constant, simmering pressure. Every game, every interview, and even every social media post was now seen as an indicator of growth, composure, or potential weakness. Fans and analysts weren't just watching performance, they were watching resilience, mindset, and the ability to navigate one of the most intense and highly scrutinized periods of her career. What had once been a single moment now extended into a prolonged test of poise and professionalism. The comparisons to Caitlin Clark remained, but their context had evolved. Instead of being an immediate, surface-level benchmark, Clark now represented a broader conversation about how elite athletes handle pressure differently. Analysts dissected play styles, decision-making, and emotional responses, framing each as evidence of mental toughness or lack thereof. For Reese, this meant that success wasn't measured solely in points scored or plays executed, but also in perception, how effectively she projected control, focus, and confidence in a landscape where every detail mattered. Fans quickly realized that winning on the court was only part of the equation. Winning in the court of public opinion was equally crucial. The emotional stakes intensified as the attention grew more persistent. Social media continued to serve as both a mirror and amplifier, with discussions expanding beyond basketball to broader themes of fairness, gender expectations, and media responsibility. Supporters highlighted the unfairness of public comparisons and critiques, emphasizing Reese's skill, work ethic, and leadership under pressure. Critics scrutinized every reaction, every post, and every interview, framing them as evidence of character and composure under extreme stress. This dual lens created an environment where Reese had to maintain both technical excellence and emotional consistency, navigating a world where scrutiny rarely paused. Behind the scenes, the importance of strategic support became even more evident. Coaches, teammates, and mentors played critical roles in helping Reese manage the ongoing pressure. Their guidance, feedback, and encouragement created a foundation for navigating both professional expectations and public narratives. Even small adjustments, preparing for media questions, managing social media engagement, or focusing on mental conditioning, had an outsized impact. Reese's ability to leverage these resources directly influenced how effectively she could respond to criticism while maintaining peak performance on the court. Throughout this period, resilience emerged as the defining theme. The initial live critique had been a spark, but what followed was a prolonged test of patience, focus, and mental strength. Each appearance, each play, and each statement contributed to the narrative being constructed around Reese. Supporters and critics alike recognized that the true measure of success extended beyond statistics and accolades. It was about navigating pressure with dignity, maintaining focus amidst distraction, and demonstrating growth in the face of public judgment. The long-term implications of this period were becoming increasingly clear. Sustained public scrutiny can have lasting effects on perception, opportunities, and personal confidence. Reese's response to these challenges would shape her professional trajectory, influence her reputation within the sport, and define how future audiences interpreted both her achievements and her character. Every calculated decision, every measured reaction, and every demonstration of poise served to reinforce the narrative of resilience and adaptability. Fans remained deeply engaged, watching closely as Reese navigated the dual pressures of athletic performance and public perception. Conversations ranged from technical analysis to psychological insight, as supporters and commentators alike tried to understand the demands placed upon a young athlete thrust into the spotlight. The experience underscored that resilience isn't just about performing under pressure, it's about maintaining focus, mental clarity, and composure when every move is magnified and every response analyzed. As the period progressed, the narrative began to shift subtly from tension to cautious optimism. Reese's ability to respond thoughtfully, maintain composure, and perform consistently demonstrated her capacity to grow under pressure. Observers recognized that public scrutiny, while intense, could serve as a catalyst for development, pushing athletes to refine not only their skills but also their emotional intelligence and strategic awareness. The way she navigated these challenges became a case study in professionalism and resilience in modern sports. Ultimately, this phase revealed that the spotlight is both a challenge and an opportunity. Angel Reese had been tested publicly in ways that extended far beyond athletic performance, facing scrutiny that demanded mental fortitude, strategic awareness, and emotional resilience. How she handled this intense period would shape both her legacy and her future, demonstrating to fans and critics alike that success is defined not just by achievements on the court, but also by the ability to thrive under relentless attention and expectation. In the end, what emerged from this period was more than just a story of critique. It was a story of growth, resilience, and the capacity to navigate one of the most demanding environments in sports. Reese's journey served as a reminder that true excellence encompasses skill, character, and the ability to endure scrutiny without losing focus, and that every challenge, no matter how public or intense, offers an opportunity to demonstrate strength and poise. The story of Angel Reese's live moment and the fallout that followed isn't just about basketball. It's about resilience, pressure, and the challenges of navigating the spotlight as a young athlete. What fans witnessed was a raw glimpse into how public scrutiny, comparisons, and expectations intersect to test not only skill but composure, focus, and mental strength. Now, more than ever, her journey highlights the importance of perseverance and self-belief under pressure. We want to hear your perspective. How do you think Reese handled the moment, and what do you believe it reveals about her growth as a player and as a person? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your insights, and join the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can stay updated on every development and breakdown. This is more than highlights, it's the real story behind the headlines, and you won't want to miss what happens next.